Hey, what's up, everyone? You're currently tuned into TBD on KCSB FM 91.9 in Santa Barbara and netnetradio.com out of Tijuana. Today, I'm joined by Los Angeles crushgaze band Clear Capsule. How you guys doing?
Good, awesome. How are you?
Dude, I'm just chilling. Do you guys want to go ahead and just like introduce yourselves real fast and like what you play in the band and stuff?
I'm Bryce. I play guitar and I sing.
Sick.
I'm Leon. I play bass and a sampler, and I do backup vocals.
Hell yeah.
I'm Albert, and I play guitar.
Hell yeah, Albert. Yeah, well, it's really stoked to have you guys here. I guess like before we get like totally, I don't know, into other stuff about like the band or anything, I kind of just like to ask like, how is your guys' like COVID, I guess? I used to ask this question a lot back then, but now it's like kind of like super far in. So it's kind of still weird, but like, how has your guys' experience been, I guess, like playing shows again and like, I don't know, trying to like go back to normal and whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we got super screwed by COVID. Basically, I had the whole album recorded, tracked, and then our drummer moved away. So it was kind of like,
And then I died.
Damn.
I almost died.
Like literally you almost died?
I got sepsis, and I was like in the hospital for like a year straight. So
Oh my God, dude. I actually feel like I remember seeing like you post about being in the hospital or something, but I didn't realize it was that long.
yeah, it was really gnarly. So like everything about the band got put on like super hold. But I think that it ended up kind of being a good thing
Mhm.
for this project, because it let Bryce really like sit down and build a studio at home.
Mhm.
And then by the time we got back together, we had like all these new tunes that Bryce made, and everything just like started flowing really fast with the demos, and just like the whole workflow changed. And now it's just been like going.
That's
Yeah.
super sick.
it definitely kind of helped, but we kind of not reformed the band, but we definitely like kind of came up with a new formula to rework everything and just make it a lot more productive and just dive in. And everyone kind of had more time when
Uh-huh.
everyone started going back out and like people would start to go back into studios. We could finally focus and actually get people to come help us because there was nothing else to do.
Uh-huh.
So it was good.
Yeah, I noticed that like, or at least when I ask this question to people, like there's obviously a bunch of different answers, but a lot of it is like people find like a different like workflow or something and it ends up like working out, you know, just from like that whole experience. So that's cool that you're able to like, I guess, like come back productive, you know?
Yeah, I think it gave me time to really hone in on what I really wanted to do
Uh-huh.
instead of just like having band practice in a room every week and we're just all trying to remember the songs. We actually started demoing a lot more.
Yeah, that's sick. So I guess like what have you guys been up to other than like music and whatnot, like in like, I don't know, the past? Have you guys picked up any new hobbies or anything that's kind of stuck or
I mean, I've been surfing a lot.
that's
That
sick?
That was kind of my main thing.
That's cool. Where do you usually surf at?
I'm not allowed to say, but it's somewhere between El Segundo and Manhattan Beach, somewhere.
Dude, so I think over there in shoot, what's the name of the place? I forget the name of the city, but my friend was saying that over there there's like a surf gang or something like that that like yeah, is that the beach you go to? Yeah, that's dope. That's cool. Anybody else? How about you guys do anything?
I just moved out to California in like February, so
Where are you from?
from like Connecticut, Massachusetts, like
That's sick.
so I actually like everyone but Leon.
Yeah,
Um,
we're all from Connecticut except for Leon is from Oklahoma City.
Oh, tight.
So I just been it's not really a hobby, but I just like to sit in my backyard and like be as naked as possible and just sit in the sun.
Dude, that's honestly sick.
So yeah,
So you don't have any tan lines?
exactly.
Yeah, that's sick.
There's one blind spot that I just need to get like a lawn chair or something that where I can like sit and then I'll be like fully. So there is a tan line, but it'll be gone soon.
Yeah, that's dope. I know you were saying earlier before like we started recording that you're trading crypto too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sick. How's that going?
It's I haven't been doing too much. I mean, like if you look at chart, it's the market isn't the crapper. So I've been personally like just kind of learning to code a little bit and kind of getting into like graphic design and stuff like that.
That's cool, dude. So were you ever like into like trading stocks or anything? Like were you on top of that like Reddit, like Wall Street bet stuff that was going down?
No, I got into crypto like 2018 and I was attracted to like kind of the anti-establishment aspect of it. And like, I don't know, I'd like, I don't know, moralistically, I guess I'm just like not into like the traditional finance stuff. So
Yeah.
but that was cool and that was happening.
Yeah, that's sick. It was a very interesting time when that was going down. Have you seen that like even like with cryptocurrencies, like the US government has a cryptocurrency? I just think that's so insane that like even like governments are hopping on this. It's so weird.
A little dystopian.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword, but right now it's just cool stuff happening. So we'll see.
Yeah, dope. How about you, Bryce?
I'm honestly trying to think of my hobbies right now. I don't know. I just hung up curtains in my house,
Hell yeah, dude, that's sick.
watching a lot of Beavis and Butthead,
Oh, tight.
working to afford this tour, and yeah, just going nonstop, doing recordings, these videos. We've done a video. We just put out a video last 3 weeks ago, I guess. Yeah,
Right. That was what was that one called?
live at Big Bad Sound.
Yeah, and then we got one coming out right after this airs on the radio too.
Another video, different songs, and they're all live versions of the songs. I guess I just got a text message, so
It's okay. So you guys are going on tour. Are you guys stoked for that? You're going on tour with Sprain, right? Yeah, that's sick.
Brain fucking rules.
Yeah, Sprainer legends. So where are you guys going on tour and stuff?
So
if there's like people listening, like, I don't know, maybe not in California or SoCal, where can they catch you?
the tour starts in San Francisco on
Okay.
August 5th. And we're basically going up and down, and we're doing shows all the way up to Bellingham, Washington, which is just above Seattle, and back down, pretty much hitting all the main spots we can.
They were going to Gene,
Ashland,
Portland, of course.
Portland.
Olympia.
Nice.
Are we playing in Ventura?
No, we're doing San Jose,
San Jose.
Sacramento.
Yeah.
Nice. That's sick.
Should be only, it's 10 days, but it should be a good run. And, we're just super lucky to go with Sprain.
For sure. Have you guys ever toured before with this band?
No, we've actually never toured.
We haven't toured with Clear Capsule, no.
Oh, really?
We've been good friends with Sprain for a long time. Like we share a practice space with them.
Oh, sick.
We see them very often, and just kind of our shared proclivity to music with really intense volume brought us together and had us playing a lot of shows together. My close friend, who's also from Oklahoma, was like their roommate. So it's just that's like our really good friends. We love them to death.
That's cool. Yeah, Sprain are the homies. They were actually like my second ever like performance on the radio, like in studio. Yeah, it was fun. They're really cool. Yo, so I actually saw too on Algernon Cadwallader's Instagram, they posted like your tape or something, right?
Yeah, I have a pretty extensive Algernon Cadwallader collection.
Oh, really? That's sick.
I mean, I've been, because I'm from Connecticut, so they would come up to Connecticut from Philly all the time, like 10, 11, 12 years ago, but I would always go to every show I could and kind of just became friends with them through that.
That's so sick.
But yeah, we see Peter, the singer, pretty often. He comes down here and works and hangs out. So we always meet up. So I had my cassette collection out the other day. and I had this really old. It's like their first cassette.
Yeah,
So,
that's crazy, dude. That's like pretty legendary. They're like one of like my favorite bands that I obviously didn't listen to them when they were a thing, but yeah, it's sick.
see them, and you should go.
Dude, I got tickets, dude. I am so excited for that gig. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how like all these like old emo bands are like getting back together. Like Sunny Day Real Estate got like back together. Like Snowing is playing like a reunion show too. Yeah, it's pretty wild. So were you like super into like emo and stuff back when that was like?
I was definitely into Algernon Cadwallader. It's definitely into like American football. We've always really been into Joan of Arc and just the whole
Nice.
the Captain Jazz family tree.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of branches from that.
Yeah, Brett and I like grew up, like we were in our first bands together, and like I don't know if you know the Get Up Kids, like all that Midwest emo stuff was like hugely influential.
Oh, really? That's sick.
Back, you know, I don't know, mid 2000s or whatever.
When you couldn't even listen to it unless you actually bought the CD.
Yeah. The revival, dude. That was the peak of the revival. Yeah, dude. I was going through like this archive on I found through like there's like this guy that like basically did what I was doing for like 15 years or something at KCSB, and like he was doing all these shows in IB. His name was Josh Redman, and he has this like huge archive of like all these different like bands that would come through and play of just like bootlegs and stuff. And he has a bootleg. It's honestly a extremely shitty recording, but it's like from the Algernon Snowing in like 1994 tour. And yeah, when they played it like Bico in Santa Barbara, it's so sick.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I want it. I don't care how shitty it is.
I'll send it to you, dude. It's honestly sick. It sounds like, and that was back in like the golden age of like the Santa Barbara music scene when it was actually sick. Like now Santa Barbara is just kind of trash. But yeah, dude, like Santa Barbara used to have a sick music scene. So like, you know, Bico used to get like super like packed out and like sweaty and stuff. And you could hear like everybody like singing along. Dude, it sounds like such a good time.
Was it like a VFW? Like what kind of space was it?
Bico is just like, so in Isla Vista, like the college town of Santa Barbara, pretty much. There's like a bunch of co-ops, like housing co-ops, like student housing co-ops or whatever. And Bico was like kind of like the DIY, like music house. That was kind of like their thing. And they turned their garage into like a venue. So, yeah, that was it. Like all these bands used to come through there. Bico is honestly like super legendary. But of course, like it all depends on who's running the house at the time, if they want to keep that alive. And like right now it's kind of like, they don't really have people that are partaking in that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like kind of dead. It's just kind of like a history thing.
Yeah. It's a tough thing to keep going because it's like sick to have shows in your house, but it's also like your house at the same time.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing too. And it's like you have people that it's obviously like, you know, a college town. So people are living there for like a couple of years at a time. And so it's kind of hard to keep anything established there for a long time because it's like there's just such a fast turnover of like people there with different interests and everything. But yeah, sick. I'll send you the archive, dude.
Please.
Dude, and then we also have this like really sick, sorry, I'm just like going off, but there's like this really sick like station ID from like Algernon Cadwallader, and they're like, hi, this is like, I don't know, they're like speaking in like Pig Latin or something. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's so tight. I remember finding that and I was like, dude, this is fucking sick. Like, I can't believe they're like in the studio. That's so cool. So I guess let's chat clear Capsule. Could you like shine a light on like your guys' like formative music moments? Like when did you guys get involved in DIY? Like when did you start like playing music? Let's just bring it back to the beginning.
Well, we've been playing, and me and Albert have been playing in bands since high school, just trying our best.
Yeah.
Get better at guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Not knowing what tone means or how to get a tone.
Buying like the shittiest amps, not knowing they were shitty.
Yeah.
I swear, I guess.
Buying wireless systems that we need them as 15-year-olds.
Yeah.
BFWs.
So we could play our high school talent show.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, then I mean, I always just played music with whoever I could. Albert always played with other people too, some of our other friends from high school. And then shortly after I got out of high school, I started playing with some older dudes. When I was 18, they were like 24. And then I eventually like got in a van with them and did some touring around the East Coast and New England.
What was that band called?
Called Ivy Drive.
Hell yeah.
And then shortly after that, I would kind of start to find new people to play with, because the singer of Ivy Drive went to art school and quit the band, and we were all pretty pissed off. And forget the exact order, but then started playing with, I'm trying to even remember how this went down, but I met this dude Andy, and we started a band called Chalk Talk, and we got our friend Brian to play, and then we were doing a bunch of Chalk Talk stuff for a while. And that's when it really started happening. And like that's when we also met Algernon, and then we would start playing shows with them and different bands that they knew, and it was like the whole MySpace era.
Dude, that's so sick.
And it was good. It was a good time, and we started having some momentum. But I was also going to school, I was going to college, and it was just like a really busy time, doing lots of shows, booking lots of shows. We had house shows in our basement, and it was just lots of shows.
That's so sick. Can you like talk more about just like, I don't know, the basement scene? Cause that's like so different than like what happens in like California. Like I feel like that's like a very specific like Midwest, like East Coast thing.
Yeah. I mean, well, pretty much every house has a basement out there. And it's for shows, cause usually the basement is already really crappy, so no one cares about it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a place that you can drink beers and hang out and play really loud. So we also did a lot of like, it was also like, we started booking shows at American Legion.
Oh, that's sick.
Our old friends, Black Churches. And it just really started happening there. Lots of kids would come out, and we're like, cool, this is working. There's people coming out, enjoying the music. And just started meeting more and more bands. And we did a bunch of touring, and just, got in a van and drove around and played as many shows as we could. I didn't put out much music because it's just hard to record when no one in the band records. And the only people who want to record you don't want to record you for free.
Yeah.
Your band ends up putting out 2 EPs and then breaking up. And then you start new projects.
So was this all this stuff that you were just talking about? That's all with like Chalk Talk?
Yeah, mainly with Chalk Talk.
Nice. So can you find like recordings of this band still?
Yeah, they're up. They're up on Bandcamp. I think there's an EP on Spotify.
There's still many tapes out.
I don't even. There's no tapes, but people still buy CDs for some reason.
That's honestly sick. So I don't know. Did you guys like put out like anything with like labels or anything? Like
we had a label out of Montreal called Lul de Tig. They're actually pretty cool and super helpful. They put out a 7-inch, and then they ended up putting out another EP, which we did on like a one-sided 12-inch. But it was kind of cool to meet them. We met a bunch of bands.
Yeah.
We were able to go to Canada a bunch. And then that band, we graduated college. Chalk Talk toured Europe for 5 weeks. And then we broke up because we all kind of wanted to do different things. I didn't really want to live in the snow anymore.
Yeah.
So I ended up moving out to LA just to play music. And I had a few friends out here already, and then I had a few friends who were going to move out at the same time. And then after I moved out here, a bunch of people started moving out, a bunch of my musician, artist friends. And went through like 5 years of just different lineups with different people.
Yeah.
Just playing, I never stopped playing. It was just hard to keep a band together. It's the same thing. I had no money, like barely making enough money for rent, and then trying to make a band just stay together and get decent enough recordings. And then me and my drummer kind of started Clear Capsule as a side project.
How long ago was this?
Well, it was like 5 years ago.
Okay, sick.
Almost 6 now.
Almost 6 years now.
Damn.
And then we were basically writing stuff for like a year as a side project, just kind of being like, these are just kind of songs I write on the side. And then
You cornered me at a house show.
we needed a bassist. one of our favorite bands is Autolux,
Yeah.
and like someone was playing Autolux over a PA system at a garage show near USC.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we were like, who the is playing Autolux?
Yeah.
And we asked one of our friends, we're like, do you know who this is? She's like, oh, that's Leon. He's really nice. You should talk to him. He plays bass, actually. We're like, he's playing Autolux and he plays bass. So we basically just cornered him, and
You're like, join my band, dude.
yeah, we're like, he's like, all right, well, first of all, what nights do you guys practice? And we're like, Tuesdays. Like, we're actually free Tuesdays.
Yeah, and it was a super weird thing where I was on because I'm always playing with I play in 5 bands right now.
Dude, that's crazy.
It's fun,
Yeah.
and it was sort of this thing where I was like, I didn't know if I was gonna have the time to do it, but then I went over and saw where they were staying at, which was a spot called the Booger Deli. They just had these great amplifiers, these huge amps. And I was like, yeah, I'm in. We were all on the same page right after that. I think it was the first practice.
Yeah,
so
first practice.
I was like, okay, cool. We're all best friends now. Sick.
It felt good.
So real quick, I guess, what is the Booger Deli you were saying? Is that like a venue or something, or a practice space?
It was kind of it was like an art space, but it was where we lived. It was just when I first moved to LA, I was just living on my friend's living room floor next to a litter box.
Yeah.
She never scooped the litter.
That's messed up. I feel like that's cancerous, right? Isn't that cancerous? Like cat pee and litter, dude. Like,
Thinking about you all night sounds like a great night's sleep.
yeah.
And then she started dating my drummer, but I usually slept in his bed where he lived. But then she started dating him, so then she wanted to sleep in his bed, and then I had to go back to the apartment to sleep on the floor, but her bed was empty, and she told me I could sleep in her bed when she wasn't there. But then she told me I couldn't sleep in her bed because she thought I never showered, which I and so I quickly started trying to look for some other place to live, and I found this. It was actually crazy. Luckily I found this warehouse. It was like 3,500 square feet, and for some reason it was 65 cents a square foot, which is super cheap.
That is insane.
Yeah, I was going to pick up some stuff for free off Craigslist, and I just walked up into this place, and I was like, there was this girl who was just giving away a bunch of stuff. Like, wait, I was like, do you live here? She's like, yeah, why? And I'm like, because I'm looking for a place to live. And she's like, oh, I'm moving out. She's like, do you just want to take this over? And I was like, yeah. So it was good. It was a big spot, lots of places to paint, make art. We built out a few rooms. We had to put in a new shower and basically rebuild the kitchen, all that. But
dude, that's sick.
Yeah, and we started doing shows.
Twin Peaks played there.
Damn, that is insane. That's wild. Where was this at?
It was downtown.
Yeah.
Like right next to Little Tokyo.
Dude, that's so sick.
Yeah.
And so what happened to that place?
The owners were like a really sweet, nice old couple who had like a little store downstairs who sold like knives and wallets.
Yeah.
And after we lived there for a year and a half, they retired and sold the building. And they told us we could stay. But then the new property manager came in and was just like, hey, you guys have to leave.
So we threw a huge party.
Huge party.
That's sick.
Huge show.
So when was this? When did that happen?
2015.
2015.
2015, I think we moved out of there. Maybe it was 2015.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we moved to a different spot that was still cool but smaller. A lot of work on it, but we couldn't throw shows there.
That was the Booger Deli Bar and Grill / Breakfast by the Water.
That's sick. So I guess when did you guys start getting involved in I don't know, the modern DIY, I guess non-plus, all that stuff?
Well, when I moved out here in 2014, the folks in Hot MT were friends of mine from Oklahoma. We recorded some stuff with the Fleming Lips, and we were just working there a lot. And so when I moved out here, those were kind of the only people I knew. And that was like my first job when I got out here, was just doing sound at the Nonplus, the original location
Oh,
on
interesting.
Virgil and Burns.
Yeah.
And it kind of just took off from there. It was like in Oklahoma, DIY is really all that we have. Like there's
Yeah.
a thing to say where it's like, if you want something cool to happen in Oklahoma, you have to do it yourself, because no one's going to do it for you. It's just going to be lame. So moving out here, it was like, and especially with these cats too, it was like we all had a similar mindset and a way that we approached music and doing things. So when all the non-plus stuff started happening, it was just like a perfect fit, and everybody kind of came in together. Everybody got along. The non-plus people were already, you know, it was a collective that was living together in different spaces, similar to how they were living at the Booger Deli.
Yeah.
It all kind of just lined up, and now we're all just, you know.
Nonplus was kind of like the one thing in LA that kept me here, because I was like looking for more DIY spots. There was not as many house shows. Like I was in the city. I barely knew anyone in the city. I barely knew anyone outside of the city. So I was like, what am I going to do? So that's when we kind of started doing our own shows and things like that. But then I just heard about Nonplus just from finding different bands trying to find cool shows. And once I went there, I was like, okay, this spot's awesome. They're doing it right. They're booking awesome music, awesome bands.
Yeah.
Just a good spot to go to and just meet people. But I think I went to Nonplus before and met you.
Yeah.
I think I remember seeing Leon there and being like, this dude sucks.
I had like bright red hair, and I would always wear a mask. This was like before COVID. I just didn't want anyone to see my face, but I had bright red hair.
That's so funny, dude. That's sick. Trendsetter, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. Leon, can you talk a little bit more about just like Oklahoma DIY too?
Yeah, so it's very similar to the East Coast vibe. Like we have a lot of tornadoes in Oklahoma, so therefore everybody has a basement. And there's no shortage of, it's a lot of hardcore bands. It's a lot of hardcore punk that comes out of Oklahoma. And there's also a lot of good emo.
Yeah.
Like Legs Dead and Well was a great emo band. Paint Scratcher was a great hardcore band. There was a band called Chud that was really incredible.
I feel like I recognize that name from somewhere.
Yeah, they were really good. They turned into a band called Sex Snobs after that.
Oh, okay.
That was a little bit of a different vibe, but Chud, like OG Chud, was very good. There was also a lot of cool shoegaze out there. But it was just, you know, very similar vibe of just like basement shows. We have to do this ourselves, and just like make it happen no matter what.
So how'd you get involved in that?
You know, my friends played music in middle school, and we wanted to throw shows, and we would just, you know, I think our first shows that we threw were like in a frozen yogurt place.
That's sick.
12 or 13, we just convinced the owners. We're like, let us have a concert here. And they were like, okay. And then from there, it was like, we started meeting older people playing in their basements. There was a really cool thrift store called Bad Grannies that they would let us throw shows in the back of. It's awesome. Yeah.
That's so sick.
Yeah, it was super fun.
Real quickly as well, I wanted to ask, can you mention the bands that you play in as well?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I play bass for Clear Capsule, and then I play guitar and sing in a band called Shaky. And then I also play bass for a group called Sleep Diet. And I play basically everything else is bass. I play bass in Hot MT, and the guitarist of Hot MT is Spooky Tavi, and I play bass for his solo project as well. So that's Quick Ups and Shaky, Sleep Diet, Hot MT. Yeah, so that's 5.
Dude, that's sick. That's cool.
Yeah.
So I guess Clear Capsule has been around for like a long time, right? Like you were saying, like 20, I don't know, 15 or 14, 6 years or something.
Yeah.
So when did you start like taking it super seriously? Like when did you start like picking up momentum with this band? Like I noticed that your first recording that's out was from like 2019 or something.
I think we had it on Bandcamp in 2018, and we were like, we should probably put it on Spotify, I guess.
Okay.
That was always kind of the thing with the band was like from the jump, it was a very serious endeavor. Like we weren't, there's
once we got Leon, we were like seriously writing. We just wrote a lot.
We wrote so many songs. I think when we went in to record the first record, it was like 22 songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was something insane like that. Yeah. So the whole
that's crazy
vibe of it, and we were practicing, 2 times a week, 3 times a week if we could, just to be as tight as possible. But the one hang up was that we had a really hard time getting shows.
Yeah.
There weren't as many. It was in the period of like when the 60s revival thing was like really, really happening.
Like all the Burger Records bands and stuff like that.
So none of those bands really meshed with us. There were bands like Prissy Whip that we could play with, and that would be cool. But it was kind of like, like punk bands or hardcore bands that we didn't really fully mesh with because we weren't a punk band.
Yeah.
We had leather jackets, and everything else was like, pretty psych rock. So it was really hard to find an audience for that first while, but it was just like, we weren't doing it for it. It almost felt like, people talk about how they like play music for fun, or they play music because they love it. It was like, if we don't do this several times a week, we're going to die. We will not be able to exist if we don't get this like existential rage of living in a city that is not accommodating for people to live in. Honestly, it's very expensive.
LA's a wild place, dude, for sure.
So I think that the music kind of like, to me, at least when I'm playing it, kind of like reflects that. And definitely in our vibe, it was like, okay, we got to just like get it all out, and just go full bore. So it was serious from the jump.
That's cool. I actually really liked hearing about like what you were saying. Like it was hard to find shows during that whole like Burger Records thing, because like now that I think about it, you didn't really hear bands like, I don't know, the bands that you guys play in and Clear Capsule and stuff back then in that era. It was like very like the smell and stuff was like super prominent, and just like all those like burger, all that stuff. That's really interesting that you talk about that. So I guess like when did Clear Capsule become like its, I guess, modern lineup and stuff? Because I know you sent the picture that I posted showed like 5 people or something in it. Are all those people still current members?
Yeah, that's a new photo, sort of new, very new. So we basically we were writing an album for like 2, almost 3 years.
Yeah.
Went into the studio, picked 14 songs, did drums, guitar, and then Leon actually quit the band because we just, differences with our old drummer. And then that record, it was March 12th of 2020. I was on the 10th song for guitars. And that's when like my engineer's girlfriend called him and was like, hey, you should probably just come home, because like things are about to go way down south.
Yeah. Damn, that's crazy.
Oh, we have to stay here. We have to finish this record. Like, guys, come on.
Yeah. So this record has kind of just been in the making for, I don't know, it sounds like for a very long time. And your newest record that you just put out, it's called Gravity Liquor, right? So you guys finally finished it.
No, that record that I'm talking about is just shelved.
Really? Okay.
I don't even know what I'm going to do with it.
Really? Okay. That's wild.
So then over the pandemic, that drummer moved back to the East Coast. Me and him and Leon kind of wrote the whole thing. So it just didn't really feel super right to like kind of continue playing the songs. Like one of the songs we put on the live video that came out a few weeks ago, Paycheck to Paycheck, that's one of one of them. We reworked everything too. So I don't know, I might revisit them sometime in the future, but for now, once that drummer moved away, Leon came back thankfully.
Sick.
And then we started writing new stuff. I started writing more stuff on my own. And then Albert came out to visit, and he heard some of the new stuff I was working on. And I was like, it'd be really cool if you came out and played guitar, because I really need another guitarist. I can't do everything by myself. And then our dude who plays synths and also helps like arrange songs, Brent, he does a lot of he did a lot of tracking for me, and he's an engineer too.
Sick.
So I'm like, you're already involved in everything I'm doing. Like, you should just be in the band. And he was like, yeah, I'll be in the band. So then he's in the band. And then our other best friend, Jay, plays drums. And I was like, I really need you to play drums because I don't have a drummer. So he was like, all right, I'll do it. So that's how this new lineup happened.
That's tight.
It's like it's a perfect fit too. It feels like when we all meet up at practice, everybody's just really happy and really stoked. Like the whole vibe of like, we have to do this, so we're going to die has kind of turned into like all right, like we're going to die, but like, like radical.
Yeah. Now we're in it.
It kind of eased the pain, made it easier. What were you saying?
I was thinking the other day about like how kind of like weird and sort of silly it is to like get in a room and like play the same songs week after week after week. And, you know, I guess that just kind of shows like, I mean, that's just what you do when you're in a band, obviously, but, you know, that's how you do it. And like the fact that we, you know, are all showing up and like having fun and, you know, week after week, I think, kind of says like where we're all at with it. Like Bryce made it sound like, you know, he needed us, but like I at least I me did. like I was like, dude, this dope. Like I'm inspired by this. Like I'd love to be in it.
That's cool. So, you gotta love it. That's sick that you guys are all like passionate about it, you know? So did the current lineup help you write Gravity Liquor then? This new record that you just put out?
Yeah, we pretty much wrote mostly all of it together. The last song I wrote by myself and never even brought it to the room. I was just like, it's just gonna go on how I recorded it.
Yeah.
We play it live now. It's kind of reworked, full band.
Tight.
And Brent makes a lot of beats and kind of does his own arrangements sometimes. And he's always showing me his stuff, and I always want to use it. And he's usually pretty down to let me use it. But a lot of times I'm like, I struggle more because there's not as much. It's not like me sitting with a guitar and writing to my own chords. So I have to like come up with guitar parts that I know work with it, and then eventually write vocals over that. So sometimes it takes me longer to write vocals for those things. But he did Bacteria and Familiar Becomes Foreign. So he kind of started those, and then we reworked them for what you hear on the EP.
That's tight. So you also just released this on Mutation, or I say just, it's been a while now, right? Like
February.
Yeah, okay, yeah, February. So like 6 months. You released this on Mutation Records. Can you talk a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, so Mutation Records is sort of an offshoot of just like the people that it's Spooky from Hot MT, Paul Doyle from Deserta, and myself. And we just, you know, we got tired of trying to convince other people to put out our tapes.
Yeah.
And this was, again, in the prime era of like Burger, Lollipop.
Yeah.
Completely ruling everything. It's like everything. If you're not a garage rock band, you don't get a show at the Echo. And I was like, well, okay, who needs you? We'll put out our own tapes. You know, we found there's a really cool like guy who presses tapes in Pasadena. He has really good prices. He's like a cool, weird alien. And the idea behind it was that, you know, we were all like, we were the mutants. We were the people that didn't fit in.
Yeah.
Lollipop, or like had no chance of, you know, getting picked up by a major, or like even an indie, you know, because we're just making weird stuff. So the idea behind it was we wanted to have a place for all of the freaks to live. so it's been really successful. Now the roster is like
Awesome.
really stacked. And on August 20th, there's going to be a brick and mortar Mutation Records store opening.
Really? Where at?
It's going to be in Chinatown.
Dude, that's so sick, actually.
Yeah, and if you go on the Clear Capsule Instagram, we're going to be like posting the flyer a bunch. It's a big festival. Every band that's ever had anything to do with
Oh,
music.
right. I saw you post that, actually. Yes, that's what that is. Dude, that's sick.
It's going to be really, really fun.
Dude, that is so cool, actually. So how long has that label been like a thing?
The label's been going since approximately like 2015, 2016.
Mhm.
And then we got the business license in late 2018, early 2019.
Mhm.
So it's all official. And
That's so
legit.
sick.
Yeah.
So do you guys have to like sign contracts with people and stuff, or is it just like still like very DIY? Like we'll just put your stuff out, like
all we bite our thumbs and print blood on no.
It's a blood oath, dude.
It's all just friendly DIY stuff. Everybody owns their own masters. They're free to do whatever. It's just like, you know, when you're trying to cold call people and get shows and stuff, it's like if you're like, oh, it's coming out on Mutation Records, people just see that and they're like, oh, legitimacy.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, that's so sick. I kind of love how you guys kind of just like helped, I don't know, make a scene in like LA, like make your own thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like sick to hear you guys talk about like your DIY beginnings. Like you're saying, like if you want to make it happen in Oklahoma, you have to do it yourself. You know, it's like you guys like brought your experience and then, you know, brought it from where you're from and brought it to LA and like made stuff happen.
Surprised there wasn't more stuff going on.
Dude, I know that's like extremely interesting to hear you guys talk about that, because like I feel like I kind of mostly got involved or started going to shows in LA more. Like I'm not from LA, but like, you know, would keep up with what's going on down there because it was more interesting what was happening up here at the time. And I got into it recently, and for some reason I just always thought that there was stuff going down in LA, you know. But it's like really cool to hear that you guys had to make it, you know.
I mean, now it's great. There's a bunch of bands. Actually playing guitars and turning up their amps, and there's some really good bands. Like I really like Drag.
Dude, Drag is cool. They're so sick.
And Goon kind of came up in the same vibe of that too. Like I remember when we were first going to Nonplus, they would have the Goon 818, because Goon and Drag are like very close homies. They're all from the Valley.
Yeah, from the Valley.
So it was like it is really cool how sort of this like thread of, you know, people, we all came from like different DIY backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of like, oh, we need to do this ourselves, and we need to do it without pretense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which like obviously there's pretense when you're making music no matter what, but kind of just being like more open and letting people do their thing. That was kind of the thread that drew everybody together. And slowly, as we've met like more people, like, you know, like I think Dummy is like a great example of a DIY band that's like really
doing it.
Dude, they blew up, which is insane. Like I remember like them playing shows like right before COVID, like just like starting out, and then they like hustled during COVID too, which I thought was insane. And then they just like took off. It's wild. Dude, they even have all of that like internet hate going on right now. That's how you know you've made it, when people are hating on you. Have you guys seen that like Twitter discourse?
Their whole discourse is just honestly, to me, shining a light on the people who are kind of trying to, like, I don't know, not screw us, but like they're being culture vultures, you know. You see people like that, and the people who are like, you know, they're like, oh, you're talking trash on this band, and it's like, well, have you ever been on tour before?
Yeah.
It's like that's what people do. It's like we'll sit around and talk trash on people that we love, you know. It's all love. And so it's like when And the fact that they came out with the tour diary like that, it's like, when's the last time you saw a tour diary? That was something that only happened like in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, exactly. And like zines and shit.
And so it's just kind of, I think it's a return to form of people getting tired of this like pretentious, pre-made, spoon-fed ideal of what music you're supposed to be into, and rather, you know, finding bands and getting back to it, because that was like how things were in the MySpace era.
100%. Yeah, I've always like, one of the things that I've disliked the most about, I guess, like modern music, and my co-host is actually like very like into this stuff too, but like the music, the internet music blog like Pitchfork and stuff, like they kind of like make people listen to like what they should, like make people think that they should listen to this band or like this band, you know what I mean? And I've always hated that. And then like the big festival circuit, same bands that were getting like 10s at Pitchfork and stuff, you know what I mean? It's like I hated that, and that's like what drew me to DIY, is because it's like, dude, this is sick, and it's just a bunch of kids making noise, you know what I mean? I don't know. That's kind of what I like the most. And I think that Dummy is doing a really good job at like, you know, hyping smaller bands up, you know, which I think is sick. Like they're hyping up Clear Capsule and stuff all the time. Like they're hyping up like Shaky, you know, stuff like that. Like they're keeping it like real, like this is what's really happening in LA. This is what you should like. And yeah, I don't know.
The stuff that the kids are doing now too is so weird and out there and cool. We played a really strange house show in Sacramento recently.
That's sick.
It was like half bands, half hyperpop rave sets, and everybody was just stoked for everything.
Yeah.
It wasn't like when the band started, everybody who was dancing for the hyperpop stuff left or sat down. And then like when the hyperpop stuff started, it was like somebody put on a Rob Zombie remix, and we were just like freaking out, you know. It was so cool. It was so stoked. So I think that the future is really bright as far as DIY, and most people are finally starting to like wake up and do stuff for themselves as the moniker of DIY.
Yeah, straight up. I'm excited too. I guess like real quickly before we head on over to some fan questions and stuff, do you guys have anything like looking forward with Clear Capsule? Where do you guys see yourselves? Like, what do you guys see yourselves doing? Do you have like more music? Like, where do you see yourselves going with like this new wave of like DIY that's forming and stuff?
Well, we're basically gonna do the same thing we've been doing. We're gonna go on this tour, and then right when we get back, I cannot wait to write new music. We've just been really making sure we're good with all the songs we have been playing for the past year or so. Yeah, we're just gonna dive in. I'm not sure if we're gonna do another EP or a full length. Probably another EP just to keep the momentum going. Yeah, just gonna sit and write a bunch of songs and keep practicing just like we always do. So
if we don't make music and go on tour, then we might as well be dead. So
then you die, dude.
Exactly.
And then you die. Well, that's awesome, guys. I'm really stoked to see the future of like Clear Capsule and everything. Are you guys ready to hop into some listener questions?
Do it.
Let's do it. So this first one just says Mercury and Gatorade.
Is that an inside joke? Or?
No, I think that might be from Dylan.
I don't know who it's from. Yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Mercury and Gatorade. I'm always really confused
Sounds
about dangerous.
Yeah, I don't think that you would want to put mercury in your Gatorade. Gatorade that Kobe Bryant put out. He made some. I don't want to name drop a brand or anything, but it's made with like coconut water and it's got niacin in it.
What?
Oh, it's so good. I'll text you about it later, but it's really tasty. I took some to our drummer today. It was good stuff.
Hell yeah. Okay, so this next one says, where did you get the name Clear Capsule?
So the band name, this is the worst question always. I always try to like have names that can have multiple different meanings and multiple different interpretations. But I'm really into sci-fi. We're actually watching Alien Resurrection right now.
Hell yeah.
So it's like really what I thought of it as is more like a pod like a forming pod that's starting and forming, and it's kind of like, you know, almost like an embryo. was almost a new start for me too when I started this band because I already had a bunch of past band experiences, past music
Hmm.
and all this stuff, and it was kind of a new endeavor. I moved to a new city to try to start over, so that's that's pretty much what it is. The rest is whatever you want to think.
We
That's
were
sick.
almost called Everything Connected by Tubes.
Dude, you always mess everything up. That was the name, supposed to be the name of an album.
So what were you originally going to be called?
No, our original, we used to be called what did we used to be called?
I thought it was
No, I originally was gonna call the first full length Everyone Connected by Tubes.
yeah.
That's what I was gonna call it.
And I always
Leon
think,
always
I
makes
always
fun
think
of
that
it
that was going to be the name of the band because I would just think about us like
because he would always
playing
remember
shows
it.
together, and we would have like tubes from our mouth going into each other's mouths. And
Dude, that would honestly be some wild shit if you did that. Like, that'd be sick.
Some sci-fi shit.
yeah,
For real, that'd be the sickest stage presence. I think you guys should do it anyways. That'd be sick. I could see it now. You have like those tubes that like are extendable, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I don't know. It'd be tight. So this one says favorite venue to play in LA.
Non-plus.
yeah, probably non plus ultra, just because they let us
Non-plus.
do whatever we want. We
Yeah.
can be as loud as we
It's
want.
just the best people there too.
Mhm.
The people who go to shows there are great as well. Always meet tons of people there.
Dude, that place is, yeah, Non-Plus is so sick. Like, I feel like, I don't know.
Only DIY spot left.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like, I remember the first time I walked into like a non-plus, I think it was like the last location or something where you have to like go down the stairs, right? Yeah. The first time I walked into there, I was like, dude, what is this? This is so sick. You know, I'd like never been to a show and anything like that before. Yeah, I don't know. I think non-plus is really cool. Whatever happened, like why did they go through so many locations? Whatever happened with that?
So what had happened was there was a show that we booked that was Side Thing, Prettiest Eyes, and the OCs.
Mhm.
And we announced it really early, and some KXLU DJ, I won't mention his name because that would be hateful.
It was
but-
KXLU. Wow, that's wild. I thought it was someone had told me it was KCRW, and I was like, makes sense.
No, it was the KXLU DJ, and they announced the address live on the air,
Damn.
which DIY is a big no-no
Yeah.
because you gotta keep your spot safe. And so about 600 people showed up to a place that could comfortably hold about 350.
Mhm.
And right as OCs were going to go on, the fire marshal showed up,
Damn.
down, said, "No more shows here. If we hear about shows here, you're all going to jail."
Major bummer.
Major bummer. But the lease was coming up around that time, and so it's sort of just been bouncing around until it found a new home that will remain secret.
And it's a good spot.
It's a great
It's a
spot.
Mhm. Dude, that's crazy. So how did the fire marshal find out about that? Just because they heard it on the show too, or somebody said it?
It was on the radio, so it was all over the place. You got to put into context too. This is right after the tragedy at Ghost Ship in Oakland.
Makes sense.
All of the DIY places were getting cracked down on.
For sure.
Like, you remember the rec center? Did you ever go
Dude,
there?
I was at the show that got Rex and shut down. That shit was honestly scary, dude. Like they wouldn't let us leave. Like we were literally like, it was one of my friends. We were trying to make money for Bico, actually, that garage I was telling you about, because we need a new PA. And I guess like my friend was friends with the Rexen people, and they were like, yo, we're gonna have like a benefit gig here. And anyways, I guess the cops decided to like burn the place out on that night. And the cops were like, yo, like nobody's leaving. And they took all the money, which was a bummer because it was like, dude, like we had enough to buy a PA, you know? And then they like arrested the NOS guy, and yeah, all that. It was honestly scary. And then like I remember me and my girlfriend, like we had to just like sit outside for like 2 hours because they like locked our car in the gate and they wouldn't let us get our car. Yeah, it was wild. It's sad. Yeah, all those places were getting stung, which is a bummer.
got stung, and so it was a hard time for a while, but through perseverance and a lot of people's hard work, through the non-plus community and the whole DIY community, honestly, it managed to live on and continue on.
That's dope. Okay, so this next one says, what's your favorite song to play live and what's your least favorite song to play live and why?
My favorite.
I think my favorite song to play is Gray Space.
Nice.
And I don't really have a like. There's no song that we're like that I'm like kind of bummed to play. Like honestly,
I feel like you guys also have like so many songs. You can like choose only the ones that you like the most. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we've narrowed it down. We're trying to play most of the stuff off Gravity Liquor.
Mhm.
It's new and fresh. We're trying to play stuff right now that's like you can listen to online. So if you see
Sick.
us, like, okay, maybe they've heard this song.
Mhm.
My favorite song to play is probably Pinata Head, which is an old one off the EP.
Tight. Is that still in your set?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. There. And my least favorite song to play. I don't know, probably just the ones that are harder to sing. Which ones are hard to sing?
The ones that you forget the lyrics for.
I think my yeah, I forget. I think none of them that we're playing now are my least favorite to play. I think there's a lot of other songs that are my least favorite to play, but we don't play them anymore
for that reason.
Yeah.
I think probably my favorite is a tie between two of the, because like everything off the EP is so much fun to play.
Mhm.
But as far as like songs that like really, really get me into it, Paycheck to Paycheck is just like when it drops,
Mhm.
it's so good. And it just feels so good. I'm just like, yeah, it's like playing the fifth of everybody else, and just we all come together on this one chord. It sounds so heavy and good. And then there's
lots of fuzz.
And then there's the tie for me also is we never play it. It's one of the older songs, but we have this song called Hell. And I think the lyrics that Bryce wrote for it are super brilliant.
Mhm.
The chord progression is so sick. It reminds me of like, I don't know, like an unreleased Frank Black song or something.
Oh, that's sick.
It goes into these really heavy sections. I'm hoping that we can get a good recording of it at some point, because it's such a beautiful song.
Thanks,
it's so good. Least favorite, some of the older stuff that was just like I just wrote too complicated bass lines, and it was just like I would just wear myself out trying to play it. It was really fun to play, but like Deranged, it was really hard because I was like, and I was just like, my fingers would hurt afterwards. And I was like, why did I do this to myself?
I like that song.
I like it too. It's a sick song. It's just really hard to play. There's no songs that I hate.
Yeah.
Songs that
that's not Deranged. That's
yeah, it is.
No, Deranged is dun, dun,
dun. Oh, you're right.
That's I know which one you're talking about.
You were never alone.
I don't know. I forget what we called it. I can't remember. It was kind of a faster song. I can't remember what we even called it.
Hell yeah. So this next one says your funniest tour story.
Well, we had never been on tour.
But
we played some shows.
I have a great tour story about Bryce, from Bryce and I being on tour. And this is a little known fact that in every city that we go to, Bryce lights a fart on fire. Whenever we get back after playing the show, I don't know how he does it, I've never been able to do it. I've tried, but I have video evidence, and it was every city we went to. Bryce would light a fart on fire.
I
It's
don't know
funny-
if every city.
It's funny you mentioned that because on
Should do it right now.
on a tour we went on with one of our older bands, one of our friends from Philly, this guy named Greg, who's in a band called Band Name.
Great band name.
That is a really good band name.
He did it, and we were like, "What? You can actually do that?"
That's
And then, like, you know, we did it too.
Yeah.
So
We've been
it's-
lighting farts on fire.
Dude, I honestly didn't know that was actually a thing either. I thought that was always just like an urban legend to light farts on fire.
exactly. So, you know, try it out.
Are you filming? Are you capturing the video too, or no?
I did not.
Doing audio.
Yeah, we got audio.
Okay, great. I'm gonna get up here. So.
Hell
He's
yeah.
gonna Fart on fire.
I'm not gonna light my fart on fire.
What's your favorite X-Files episode?
My favorite X-Files episode is the one where they go to the weird playhouse
Uh-huh.
and they're trying to like figure out what's going on. There's like all these like zombies and there's all this like kind of fourth wall breaking stuff where they don't know if it's like they're acting or there's like real vampires there. And then at the very end, they walk out and all these ghosts start dancing around. There's ghosts ballroom dancing. That's my favorite X-Files episode.
That's sick. I don't know if I've ever even seen an X-Files episode, but that's cool.
You should watch them. They're really good.
Didn't they revamp it? Didn't they start a new one or something? Or there's like a modern one? Or is that... No, that's not the X-Files. That's Twilight Zone.
Don't watch the revamp.
Yeah,
The
it's not
Key
that
and
good.
Peele trash.
Is it trash? Okay, yeah. I'll save myself. I just won't watch it.
Watch the original
They
ones. The
did-
original ones are amazing.
Yeah.
I've actually seen some of the original ones. I remember like me and my friends would just get high and just watch the old episodes. You know what I mean?
They did make a remake in, I think it was I want to say it was 1987 or 88 or 89. I don't know. But it's a Twilight Zone movie and it's 5 of the episodes remade. It scared the living daylights out of me when I was a kid. Like I could not-
Really?
just the intro scene with Dan Aykroyd.
Would you guys ever watch Black Mirror? How'd you feel about that one? Black Mirror, that new, I don't know, it's a Netflix show or something.
Kind of eerie, like
It's
how some of
scary.
the stuff on there is like,
Really ringing true.
yeah.
I hate it. I don't watch it. It scares me.
It is scary because it's almost too real.
It fell off for me.
Yeah.
The first couple seasons, it was like really good. Like the one where they were all living underground and had to ride the bicycles to get points.
Mhm.
That was a really cool episode. I really enjoyed that one. And then it kind of turned into like I felt like the writing room was just like a British dude smoking hash and being like, "Oi, what if your mom ran on batteries?" I feel like I read that somewhere. That's not an original quote from me. I read that somewhere.
It's a tweet. It's a tweet.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Okay, so we have the last like question here. It says, what other forms of media do you consume that have influenced your music?
Sci-fi.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch a lot of VHS.
Dude, VHS is coming back too. Isn't that crazy? Like cassettes and everything. It's sick.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's a good form of media, and I usually have it going on in my studio. I'm always watching everything with the volume off.
Mhm.
Yeah, Bryce has developed this really great recording method where there's 2 TVs on either side of us in
Mhm.
here, and while you're recording, and Spooky actually started doing this too. He told me.
Sick.
And Bryce will put on 2 different movies and have the sound off. And so while you're recording, you know, if you like get frustrated or hit writer's block, you like look up and it's like Beverly Hills Ninjas on, and you're like, Chris Farley, you're hilarious. Okay, cool, back to the riff. And it's just like it seems like it would be overload, but instead it's just like a good palate cleanser.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can just like look up and watch something for a couple seconds and then go back to what you're doing, and it's pretty brilliant. Yeah, you're a smart guy.
Thanks. You are too.
Yeah, that's honestly like a really sick idea. I don't know, especially if it's like VHS too. I feel like that's just a whole ass vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tight. I think that's just about all we have for listener questions, guys.
Cool.
We did it.
Thank you so
listeners.
much.
Yeah, for sure. Where can people, I guess, like before we head out over here, where can people keep up with all things Clear Capsule and like I guess the projects and stuff you guys are working on?
Fortunately, the best way is just Instagram, even though we're terrible at it. That's where everything gets updated. Our Bandcamp is usually updated as well.
What's your Bandcamp?
Bandcamp.com/Clear Capsule.
Hell yeah. And what's your Instagram handle?
Clear Capsule.
Tight. Cool. Well, be sure to follow them on Bandcamp and Instagram to keep up with all things Clear Capsule, including this new tour that's coming up with Sprain. I have one more question for you guys. It's kind of the biggest one of the show.
Hit us.
We're ready.
Are you guys ready for it?
Oh yeah.
We're ready.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
All I've been thinking about.
So a rat is going to jump into your mouth. Do you want this rat to jump into your mouth head first or butt first, and why?
Okay, first, is it a city mouse or a country mouse?
No, this is a city rat.
City
City
rat. Okay,
rat?
city rat.
Wait, what?
Head first or butt first? Huh?
Into my mouth?
Into your mouth. You can't stop it. It's just going for it.
I'm going with butt first because I'm spitting that thing right out. I don't want that thing's mouth near my mouth.
But you're down for that tail down your throat?
I'd rather,
You want its butt in your mouth?
yeah.
I would go
My
mouth.
man's a butt guy.
I'd go mouth first personally because I've heard from a lot of people that rats are actually very clean. They keep their faces very clean, and so I
Oh,
think
really?
that would be the cleaner end to go in. What
Dude,
about you, Brett?
That was like super logical. I like that.
Yeah, I'd go mouth first. I mean, it's going all the way into my mouth no matter what. The tail and everything.
Yeah.
Probably mouth first. I don't want to taste poop right away.
So you think it would just poop instantly?
If it was in Brex's mouth, yeah.
We'd have diarrhea in that moment.
Well, yeah, your guys' answers were dope. I love this question because literally everybody's answer is different. And I love how you guys decided not to kill it. Like so many people are like head first and I'd bite its head off. And I'm just like, that's the easy way out, guys. Like
I let that guy live. He's brave.
that's what I'm saying, dude. He's made it this long in the city. Just let him keep living, you know?
What about you?
Okay, so dude, my favorite answer is the one that actually Gold Cage answered on my show, and I've kind of adopted that one. It's I'll take it butt first and pet it on its head and calm it down and put it underneath my hat and make some ratatouille. Dude, I literally don't know how they came up with that answer like on the spot. I was just like, wow, that was actually really beautiful. Like,
Brilliant.
yeah. So that's what I would go with. Well, anyways, guys, that's kind of like all we have for the show. Thanks for tuning into TBD on KCSB FM 91.9 every Sunday, 4 p.m. and NetNet Radio every Saturday, 4 p.m. Be sure to tune in next week. We'll be hosting ambient musician Ian McPhee live in the studio. Clear Capsule's performance will be live on YouTube right after this. That's youtube.com/TBD presents. This is Clear Capsule out of LA. Thank you guys.